Good day po ma'am, my name is John Edward Disamante and this is my video presentation for Leia 104, Roll 9 to 12. And roll number 9, Patrol Procedures. Patrol Guidelines. Observe precautionary measures and personal safety while on patrol. 2. Observe defense driving and follow traffic rules and regulations. 3. Select routes which provide visibility. And 4. Patrol members must be always on the lookout for indication for vices and other illegal activities on their beat. 5. Patrol members must be knowledgeable of all conditions, events, and details of places on their beat. 6. Be observant of people, places, situation, or conditions, and develop a suspicious attitude, especially if the subject appears to be slightly out of the ordinary. 7. Keep under close observations actions of juveniles, troublemakings, agitators, and the mentally retarded persons. 8. Be familiar as much as possible with known criminal ex-convicts residing in or frequenting the patrol beat. And 9. Be familiar with stay-in employees of businesses establishments on your beat. 10. Be on the alert for loiterers. And 11. Keep watch on uninvited homes. 12. Observe the practice of shaking doors of unguarded businesses establishments during the night patrol. Check for signs of intrusions. 13. Develop contacts by getting to know as many people as possible who can give factual information about crime condition on the patrol. And 14. Use tact and persuasiveness when conducting spot inquiry or questioning individuals for informations. 15. When the requiring identification from a suspicious person or any individual, avoid taking the wallet or bag in which the card's documents are placed. Let the individual remove and hand them to you. 16. When checking suspicious persons, places, buildings, establishments, and vehicles, especially during the night, be prepared to use your device. Service firearms or flashlight should be held tightly away from the body to avoid making you a possible target. Para maiwasan na maging target ka din, gumamit ka ng maging omnipresent ka sa sarili mo, makiramdam ka, especially for those mapangatid ng mga tao or gagawa ng krimen talaga. 17. Patrol members should avoid loitering in theaters, restaurants, and other recreational places. Yan. Those, what I said, those the patrol guidelines. And now, duties of patrol supervisors. 1. In any operation, careful planning in a must in order to avoid waste of time. Yes, para maiwasan ng pagsasayang ng oras, effort, and resources make a patrol plan. A. Area coverage, safe haven, ambush areas, and crime-prone areas. B. Organizational detail or personnel. C. Duration. And D. Standby points. And number E. Route plan. Okay, let's move to number 2. To designated and select the members of the patrol teams. 3. Inspect the members of the patrol for completeness of uniforms, operational readiness, and all government issue equipment like firearms, ganon, mga baril, tsaka yung gagamitin natin, mobile car, of course, di mawawala yan, and then radio, etc. at marami pang iba. To ensure that these are well maintained and properly used by the patrol officers. Yes, para may magamit yung mga patrol officers natin. Number 4, conduct briefing prior to dispatch by disseminating any orders, directives, or instruction from the chief of the police or higher authorities and new policy or guidelines being implemented by the PNP organization. Yes, magkakonduct muna tayo ng briefing for the our police officers. Number 5, remind the patrol team about the strict observance of the Philippines operational procedures. Papaalala mo sa team mo na maging observant sa PNP operational procedures. Number 6, strictly observes body system during the patrol operations. Yes, dapat may body system ka yan during the patrol operations. Kailangan may lagi kami kasama just in case na pag nalagay boy mo sa panganibis, may kasama ka din, may katulong ka. Hindi nag-iisa ka lang. Number 7, render hourly report of locations, situation through radio, telephysical, cell phone, to police community. Present PCP Station Headquarters Tactical Operations Centers TOC. Number 8, render after patrol report duly signed by detailed personnel. PCP commanders shall collate and submit significant details to the station patrol supervisor, who in turn will submit the same to the provincial district patrol supervisor. And number 9, conduct briefing after the patrol to assist in conduct and make necessary corrective measures on the fixed notes. Okay, let's move to duties of patrol officers. Diyan tayo sa mga nagjo-duty sa mga patrol officers. Okay, number 1, attend the roll call formation before the store of duty for briefing and likewise attend the after tour of duty formation for debriefing. Number 2, patrol the assigned beats, observe and check suspicious people, structures, buildings, compounds, and vehicles. Number 3, observe and monitor public gatherings, prevent disorders, and disperse unlawful assembles. And speak and or conduct surveillance in various businesses, establishments, and other installations and remove hazard to public safe. 5, check suspicious vehicles like private, public, or commercial delivery vehicles along the main roads, highway in the course of their patrols. 6, report occurrences and conditions which relate to crime, public peace, order, and safety. 7, prevent crimes and arrest sightly law violators, assuring the public that peace is preserved. 8, conduct regular visitations, dialogues, consultations with the residents and other stakeholders. 9, assist personnel of responsible agencies unit in facilitating the flow of traffic at basic intersections, road within the area of responsibility, assist and provide pedestrian information such as directions and street locations. 10, enforce city municipal's ordinance on liquor establishments and nightclubs, cabarets, and all houses of LDF. 11, response to calls, entertain complaints, initiates the investigation for the protection of the scene and minimize on the after effects of accident, fires, and other catastrophe. 12, patrol officers shall wear the prescribed patrol uniforms. Of course, kailangan naka-uniform ka for the formal. Patrol officers must have the equipment necessary for performance of their duty. Okay, that's all is the duties of patrol officers. Now let's move to guidelines and procedures when responding to calls to officers. Number 1, gather and note down in the patrol officer's logbook all available data as to the nature of the calls, date, time, and name of the caller. It may be regular, urgent, or emergency. Emergency man or urgent lang, kailangan available to data to the nature of the calls. Lagi ka naka-on time, nakahanda ka lagi sa mga tumatawag, pa-emergency man o hindi. Number 2, the manner of approach will be dependent on the nature of the call, either with hasty secrecy or without flashing lights and sirens. Number 3, consider the pertinent factors like the time, traffic condition, the possibility of greater damage, and the neighborhood characteristic. Stop the patrol car some distance from the scene. Approach the scene on foot in complete silence and exercising extreme caution. And also number 5, immediately attend the injured unless the other member of the patrol are in immediate danger. Nasa panganib. First, focus all efforts to arrest criminal whoever priority shall be given to aiding in injured. Haven't determine the crime committed. Identify the question, briefing the victim, complainant, and possible witnesses at the scene. Number 8. If the suspect or criminal have fled the scene before the arrival of patrol team, immediately relay the composition of management, appearance, the mode, and direction to escape of the suspect to the operation center for the conduct of dragnet operations. 9. When responding to street fights brawls, the patrol member should call for back before intervening. If there are no injuries, an insufficient collaborative statement obtained to identify who started the fight, despite the cover, and make complete notes. And never treat calls or complainants of loud noises. Hindi mo siya hindi mo siya lakayan ng boses o pagtataasan mong boses caused by barking dogs, drunk appliances, and parties as negligible or a nuisance. They only need courteous and tactual intervention and not enforcement action. 11. When the responding to calls for police assistance due to planted or found explosive, never attempt to handle, move, or lift the object. Instead, contact operation centers and request for explosive ordnance disposal team. Unlock must have be promptly led to safe distance away from the scene. The responding to calls from owners of beer houses, bars on inns, or any other similar establishments during the night time, request the owner of the put the lights on fire before entering the establishment. 13. Do not attempt to arbitrate unresolved conflicts, differences between neighbors, landlords, tenants, husband, and wife. Yeah. And let's move to police omnipresence. Police omnipresence is referred as the quality of making their presence known to the point of creating the impression that they are still around, hence preventing criminals from committing an offense. Yes, police omnipresent. Of course, the presence of the police is kailangan mapanatili ang kanyang presensya para maiwasan ang mga krimen na pwede maganap sa isang lugar. And we have the three basic types of patrol. First is reactive patrols, two is preventive patrol, and the last third is proactive patrol. Different methods of patrol. The most important function of the police patrol is to serve as the field contact of the department with the public. Either they are law-abiding or law violators. The different methods depends upon the needs of the particular beat or assigns. A. Foot patrol. The word patrol is derived the French word patroller, which means to travel on foot. Foot patrol is the oldest form of patrol. Siya ang pinaka matagal na or luma na. A patrol team is a specific design area to be covered by foot. Foot patrol is considered to be relatively expensive and limited the officer's ability to pursue suspect, but it was considered highly effective in its use conjunction with motorized patrol. Then dito sa foot patrol, sa foot patrol naman, mabisa siya like sa mga traffic, ganon. Kasi to avoid committing a crime if the person is to attempting. Like to prevent yung present na is hindi yung mga tao hindi makagawa ng krimen dahil may mga pulis sa paligid niya. Yan. The advantage of foot patrol enables person-to-person contact between the officers and the public. The officers enhance the knowledge of the physical layout of this beat. The patrol officers can get to know the people on his beat and develop better relations with the potential informants. A patrol officers on foot unconsciously sneak up on special situations which he can't do with a patrol car that criminals easily notice. Yes. When the foot patrol redeploy in the community, residents felt the presence of law enforcement and become more likely to enforce the neighbors' rules themselves. Dito naman po sa disadvantage is foot patrol is relative expensive because it requires a large number of personnel. It may interfere with the officer's ability to communicate with dispatch or obtain information available from them. It limits the officer's ability to pursue suspects in vehicles. It limits the officer's ability to respond rapidly to calls for service in another area. Um, the following are some suggested procedures and techniques in the effective and efficient foot patrols. We have 1 to 12. First is don't establish a set of patrol patterns. 2. When checking doors of forced entry, use the flashlight on the area around the lock to see if there are fresh or noticeable marks. Yes, mga naiiwan na mga mark. Kailangan mapagmatya ka. 3. When an open door is found, never enter alone. At least once a night, use the fire escape to check the roofs in the downtown area for possible cut-through burglaries or roof jobs as this sometimes refers to. 5. At night, the foot patrol officer should occasionally step into alley or store entrance and get out of the light as much as possible. 6. Foot cars is prime considerations. 7. And the kind of weather, especially cold weather, must not affecting foot patrol. Number 8. And foot patrol officers never smokes on the street, nor shall be chew gums. Siyempre, di ko kakain ng bubble gum din. A foot patrol officer should make conscious efforts to make friends on beat. Not only good public relationship but to develop informants and also to have friends in case it's just jump a group of hoodlums. 10. Use the 5 senses while walking. Yes, your earrings, untouchable, your nose. Siyempre 5 senses while walking. 11. When the things are slow, the officer should plan strategies. 12. Maintaining a free flow of pedestrian is just as important as keeping vehicle driving movement.
And now, let's move to rule number 10. Rule number 10 is spot check, accosting, and pat down search. Grounds for spot check search. A. Spot check accosting. The police officer may stop an individual for the purposes of conducting a spot check accosting only when reasonable suspicious exists. Reasonable suspicious must be more than just a bunch or feeling in justifying this stuff. The police officers must be able to point to specific facts that, when taken together with rational inferences, reasonably warrant this stuff. Such facts include but are not limited to the following. Number 1 is the appearance of the demeanor of the individual suggests that he is part of a criminal enterprise or is engaged in a criminal act. Number 2, the action of the individual suggests that he is engaged in criminal activity. Number 3, questionable presence of the individual in the area. Number 4, the subject is carrying a suspicious object. Number 5 is the suspect's clothing vogues in a manner that suggests he is carrying a weapon. Number 6, the suspect has been found in the time and the place proximate to an alleged crime. Number 7, the police officer has knowledge of the suspect prior criminal record or involvement in criminal activity. And number 8, the individual flees at the sight of the police officers. 10.1 grounds for spot check search. B. Body first pat down search. A police officer has the right to perform a pat down search if the individual has been legitimately stopped with reasonable suspicious and when the police officer has reason to believe that the individual possesses weapons on his persons and poses a threat to the police officers or another person's safety. Circumstances which may justify pat down search. Number 1. The type of crime believed to be committed by the subject, particularly crimes of violence where the threat of use or use of deadly weapon is involved. 2. Where the police officers handle several suspects. Number 3. The time of day and the location where the pat-down search lock place. 4. Prior knowledge by the police officer of the suspect's use of force and or propensity to carry deadly weapons. And number 5. The appearance and demeanor of the suspect. Number 6. Visual indication suggesting that the suspect is carrying a firearm or other deadly weapon. And also the last, whenever the possible pat-down searches should be performed by the police officer of the same gender. 10.2 Procedures and Guidelines. A. Spot check accosting. Number 1. When approaching the individual, the police officer shall clearly identify himself as a police officer. If not in uniform, the police officer must identify himself by announcing his identity and displaying official identification card on or badge. Number 2. The police officer shall be courteous all the times but maintain caution and remain vigilant for suspicious movement like attempting to retrieve weapons, conceal or discard contraband or other similar actions. Number 3. Before approaching more than the one individual, police officer shall determine whether the circumstances warrant a request for backup and whether the spot check accosting can and should be delayed until such backup arrives. Number 4. Police officers should confine their question as to the person's identity, place like or residence, and other inquiries necessary to resolve the police officer's suspicions. However, in no instance shall a police officer hold a person longer than a period reasonable necessary to be able to make these limited inquiries and to resolve suspicions. And the last one, police officers are not required to inform the person or his right under the law. EI, Miranda warning, anti-torture law, etc. unless the person is placed under arrest. B. Body first pat-down search. When reasonable suspicion justifies a pat-down search, the search should be performed with due caution, restraint, and sensitivity. Pat-down search should be conducted in the following manner. We have 5 following manner. First is whenever possible, pat-down searches should be conducted by at least 2 police officers, one to perform and while the other search while in the other provides protection cover. Number 2, because pat-down search are cursory in nature, they should be performed the suspect in a standing position or with the hands placed against a stationary object at feet spread apart. However, should an officer visually observe a weapon, a more secure search position may be used, like the prone lying face down. Then nakadapa din position 3 in pat-down search, officers are permitted only to feel the outer clothing of the suspect sa labas na ng damit. Kapan din, the police officers may not place their hands inside the pockets of the subject clothing unless they feel an object. Tsaka mo nakakapkap ang pag may naramdaman ka na may isang deadly weapon na naka-carrying isang weapon, isang tao. If the suspect carrying an object such as handbag, suitcase, briefcase, sack, or other similar items that may conceal a weapon, the police officer should not open the item but instead it is in a place out of the suspect, which kung baka malayo or nakadistansya sa suspect para just in case na gusto niya kunin is malayo, hindi niya kagad makakabot kaya lalayo ka sa kanya. Number 5 naman is if the external padding of the suspect clothing fails to disclose evidence of a weapon, no further search may be made in the weapon is found, and the position if which amounts to violation of law, the police officer shall arrest the suspect and conduct a complete search of his person. 10.3 Reporting after the spot check, accosting, or pat-down search. If after conducting a spot check, accosting, or pat-down search, the police officer has no basis for making an arrest, he should record the facts of such spot accosting or pat-down search and forward a report to the appropriate authority. If the spot check, accosting, or pat-down search gives a justifying occasion for a valid warrantless arrest, then an arrest should be made. And now, we have to discuss the rule number 12, Internal Security Operations. What is internal security operations? Internal security operations refers to a military and police operations to suppress insurgents and other serious threats to national security, ISU, and national development operations. The three basic weapons of the government in counter-insurgency operations. It defines as the type of operations and assistance provided by the AFP to maintain, restore, or establish a climate of order within the which responsibility government can function effectively and without which progress can't achieve. 1. General mandate. The PNP is mandated to provide active support to the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, and the Internal Security Operation ISO for the suppression of communist terrorist movement, CTM, and other serious threats. National Security Executive Order Number 546 Series of 2006 directing the Philippines National Police to undertake active support to the Armed Forces of the Philippines in internal security operations for the suppression of insurgents and other serious threats to national security, amending 13 provisions of Executive Number Order 110 Series of 1999 and for other purposes. 2. The PNP in inactive support role. The PNP shall perform the following is conduct sustained law enforcement action against CTM terrorists. In urban areas, the PNP may assume the lead role in IOC against CTM, other threat groups, and organized crime groups engaged in armed offensive. The PNP units may either operate in a single force or as a part of the joint PNP-AFP combat operations. In both cases, literal coordination is a must. The PNP units in CTM affected areas may be placed under operation control of AFP units but shall continue to perform law enforcement functions. Specific areas where armed confrontations such as encounter, ambush, raid, liquidations, and other similar atrocities occur between government forces, and the communist terrorists shall be treated as a crime scene. The police unit that has jurisdiction over the areas shall conduct the crime scene investigations. 3. Defensive positions. Police stations, especially those located in the far-flung areas, are priority targets of attacks. As such, security measures against city atrocities must be undertaken as follows. A. Continuously remind all PNP personnel to be extra vigilant and security conscious in their day-to-day activities and during troop movements. Duty stations guard shall memorize internal and put into practice in the 11 General Orders of the Duty Guard, Annex Z. Likewise, they shall always carry their issues long firearm and ammunition bundlers with basic load. Vigorously implemented security measures in all police stations and police community presence. Conduct sustained inspects of the operational readiness of PNP field units stations. Always keep in mind and modus operandi strategies and tactics being practiced employed with the CTM and other threat groups. Enhance the establishment of Advanced Security Controls Point ACCPS to control the ingress and ingress of people in the stations. One of the strategies and tactics employed by CTM and other threat groups to gain access to police stations is by wearing of PNP AFP uniform and that of other layers. Hence, personnel assigned in the advanced security control point shall not allow entry to uniform groups or any individual without prior conditions. Exercise sustained vigilance and maintenance of law, order, and public safety is respective AUR through the intensified conduct of the police visibility patrols. Carry out the police community relations, PCR, barangay peacekeeping operations, BPO, activities in areas that are prone to influence, infiltrations, and infiltrations of CTM's fronts organization. And that's all po ma'am. Thank you for watching.